Alright guys, welcome back. CFP here, and this is Survival Living. So today we're going to talk about grid down scenarios on how to prepare and get your home ready for either hurricanes, natural disaster, man-made events, EMP, war, coronal mass ejections. Well, that'd be natural disaster. Alright guys, so one of the first things most people do is get a gasoline generator. Now this one here is a cheap one. I think I paid 400 bucks for it. I don't really remember. This is a Harbor Freight job. This is a Predator 4000. It is more than efficient for what we need here at the house. The only time we've ever needed this is when we've had a bad series of rainstorms last for several days and our solar system was not able to power up everything we needed, so we've had to fire up the generator and get things back charged up. It doesn't happen often, but hey, keep a generator on hand. Now this one here is a 3200 watt continuous running and a 4000 watt peak. If you only use half the amount that power need, the thing supposedly runs 12 hours. I've got 9 hours out of it. So hit and miss. We keep extra oil on hand because you do have to change the oil in this. We keep fuel on hand, gasoline. We keep spark plugs and other pieces we need, air filters. Anything I could think of that needs to be replaced on this, we went ahead and purchased, so we always have a running generator. This is a backbone backup. Think of it that way. We can always power stuff up with this. This is probably your cheapest option for providing power to your home for your family. Now, you do not want to run this inside. I have to put that disclaimer up there because if I don't, I'll have an army of people. You didn't tell people not to run a generator in their home. Well, if you're really that freaking stupid, you get a Darwinism award. There you go. Alright, so moving on. You like that? Gasoline. We have gasoline here. This is a gasoline engine. This is why we store gasoline. We also store gasoline for our vehicle. The reason being, in case we ever need to move around, the power's out, we have gas on hand. We've got a lot of gas hidden. Now I get a lot of questions about gasoline. What's the best way of storing it? How long does it last? Well, gasoline's sealed up in these containers. These are approved containers. You'll hear, you got to use metal, don't use plastic, yada, yada, yada. I've been doing this stuff for a very long time. This container here, this gasoline untreated will last anywhere from 3 to 6 months. This is why we have 4-month supply of fuel that's always in a rotational stock. We never put gas directly into our vehicle at the pump. We're always cycling through our fuel. If you use a stabilizer, each stabilizer is different. Rule of thumb, you get a year. My apologies, we got issues with the camera because it's so freaking hot out here, it's shutting everything down. Alright, so fuel stabilizers, if you want a long-term fuel stable storage, fuel stabilizers is the way to go. Now the rule of thumb is fuel stabilizers usually stable out to a year on gasoline. Alright, and that depends on how you store it. Having it in direct sunlight like this is not a good idea. Having an even temperature, not high temperature, not freezing cold, it's going to last much longer. I hear thunder in the background, so we got to hurry up. I have read on some of the claims of some of the other companies they can get anywhere from 1 to 3 years with fuel stabilizers. I have never seen that happen. It doesn't mean it's not. It doesn't mean it can't be. I say general rule of thumb, 1 year. These containers like this, I have mine in a 4-month cycle. They generally say 3 to 6 months. Now, if you got a lot of high ethanol in your fuel, which, hey, guess what? Most fuel does now. You're going to have lesser time. It's just cheaper gas. They do that for a reason, and I don't think it was for cleaning the environment. It just makes it more difficult to store fuel. Alright, so another option is solar. As you can see behind me, we have many different solar options here. We have done videos in the past on our solar system. We actually live off of our solar grid. Our 6x12 trailer, which should be popping up there for you guys. That's a picture of it. That is a converted 6x12 cargo trailer that I converted into an actual camper, something we can pull behind our vehicle. No matter what, we can pull that. We have a place to live at any location we need to. Consider it a bug out vehicle. But it was actually designed for us to live out of while we build our home in Wyoming, because we got property out there. We're going to start homesteading, and we'll be using solar, wind turbines, things like that we have in stock will be going with us. Now this here is a 100-watt panel. This is an Amazon panel. We got 800 watts on top of our trailer right now. We also have, this is one of our very first solar system. That's a Harbor Freight briefcase is a 13-watt solar panel. I know, I laugh at it now, but during a hurricane, that's the only solar I had. I was able to charge up our electronics, our lights, all that stuff with that. Now, I couldn't sit there and run a whole house with it, not with that little 13-watt one. I can run our systems with our 800-watt solar grid that we have now. But we designed our living around our solar power, our battery banks, everything. There'll be a card popping up here for you. It is a complete breakdown of our solar grid. The panels, the wiring, the charge controllers, the battery banks, the inverter, our protection. We use EMP Shield. As a matter of fact, if you use EMP Shield and use CFP EMP, you get $50 off your purchase. This is what we use to protect our solar grid and also our vehicle. We have two. We have one for our solar grid and also have one for our vehicle. Now, well, system, which is actually two EMP shields on our solar grid because we're running dual charge controllers because we have such large power grid on top of our trailer. Now, with this, down here in Florida, it gets hot. I mean, I already changed my shirt twice. And by the way, Prescott Caliber Club, freaking awesome guy. So with this, we're able to keep our trailer cool. We're able to run an air condition, a window unit. It's a 5,000 BTU air conditioning unit. We can run it all day and up to 4 hours at night. The only reason why we're limited on that is our battery banks. We just don't have the room in that trailer to build a much larger battery bank. But for 4 hours at night, we can run it. We can run it all day long. We can also run our floor fans, our box fans. Excuse me, I think I inhaled a bug. We can actually run our box fans. Now we can run those all day long and all night long on our battery banks. So having a way to keep things cool. We have a 12-volt / AC refrigerator inside our cargo trailer. That thing we can run off our 12-volt system or we can switch it out to AC if we need to. We're able to keep food cool. So that's what we live with. Now, this also runs our water pumps for the water system inside there, for our shower, for our sink. We're running off solar. Now we have other systems in place, our generator. We have wind turbines, but they're not up here in Florida. I mean, we got them in storage. We haven't erected them here because there's no wind here. But if you're gonna live in a windy state, something you could definitely check out. Check your local wind maps, they're online, and see if it's a good spot for you to actually purchase one of these. They're about $300 for a good 800-watt system, and you can start producing power around the clock with wind turbine. So other than cooling, we can heat during the daytime just fine. During the winter time, we heat just fine. We have a heater in our trailer. We use our solar. At nighttime, our heater is a killer. It's rough. I mean, our battery banks are not big enough. You have to have a large storage, a large battery bank to run this stuff for multiple hours. We get right at 4 hours with it before it starts shutting down the system because we got a safeguard in place on our system not to fry everything. Now, heating, cooling, water delivery has been took care of. What else can this do? Well, what we use this for is our cooking. We run an actual coffee pot off this. People say you cannot run coffee off of solar. There should be a card popping up for you. Yes, I run percolated coffee every morning. Anytime I want to, I run coffee. We run electronics for our TVs, DVD players, stereo system, lighting, solar. We cook with solar. Now my wife has her own little cookware set that she likes to use, equipment. I think they're the Ninja products. I don't know. That's her department. She knows that. She knows about that. I don't. I cook on a fire. Okay. But this has been working just fine cooking, so we're able to actually cook our food with solar. We can run crock pot, we can run electric skillets, we can run a little blenders, whatever it is that she needs to do. This has always provided the power for it. Now with solar, you have to watch your power intake and your power output. You do. You can't just start plugging in stuff willy-nilly and hope for the best. We can with our system because everything in our home is designed around our solar. We have designed our lifestyle around our input, and that's how we can run it without any issues. Now, if you just go buy 1,000 watt of power, throw it up somewhere and think you can run your house on your normal day appliances, you could run a couple of them, but not everything all at once. Everything has to be timed out. So, moving on, lighting. Here's another solar product. This is a solar lantern. It's got a hand crank, battery bank. This thing's freaking amazing. This is what I take on my camp out trips. This, you know, it's pretty bright. It's got 2 sets of LEDs. You know, you could different modes on it. LEDs all the way around. This thing's what I take on my camping trips. I love this thing. It lasts for many hours. Handheld flashlights, either it's a regular flashlight. I usually use this for my studio lights because it works so great. This one here, I actually did a review on a while back for an Amazon seller, and yeah, we still use it. This is a Linky, I believe it is, and it charges up you in USB ports. No external batteries or anything like that you got to worry about. Headlamps, handheld flashlights, things like that. This is the OLight. We are affiliated with OLight. I've done reviews on the OLight headlamp. We're actually going to be doing some new reviews on this. And I did see comments about communication during grid down. So with us, we have 2-way radios. This is a Redibus 2-way radio. This is one of them. This is the one I take on with me on my camping trips. My wife always has the other one, so she gives search and rescue. And it's got right at a 2-mile range so that they know where I'm at. They can reach me, or I can reach them. Handheld radios, the handheld jobs. CB radios, all that stuff can be charged up with a 12-volt system as long as you have your converter. Our ham radios are handheld ones. We use a USB port to charge them up. Our CB, we can hook directly to our 12-volt system. We'll get that running. Right now that's in a Faraday cage because I don't want to pull all that stuff out just for a real quick video. It's just a CB. It's like 38 bucks. So CBs, stuff like that is an idea for communication. When we went through a hurricane a while back, I think it was Irma, all cell phones quit working. We couldn't call out. We had people riding around coming towards where we were at asking if we had internet service, because their phone, when they bought their phone, they told that they would always have internet service, internet coverage. Most of the time, no. Cell phones, internet, it goes down. So whether it be a man-made event or hurricane, have 2-way communication. If you got to do stuff, you got to check your property out, whatever, having 2-way communication with a loved one or a team that you have in place for such emergencies is going to be key. You know, I mean, what are you going to do? Write a letter and throw it at them? Having a 2-way radio communicate back and forth is actually a pretty cool idea. All right, other cooking options. We have a camp stove. All right, this is an Ozark Trail camp stove. It doesn't matter which one you get, as you know, Coleman, Ozark, whatever works for you, whatever is good for your budget. This one here is a propane one. Okay, usually it uses the little 1-pound propane containers. We got a bunch of these stocked up, but we recently went ahead and invested in a hose adapter to run our propane to. This thing here will hook up to our 20-pound tanks and also our 100-pound tanks. So we always have fuel on hand to grill. All right, we can run this. Now, do not run one of these camp stoves inside your house. They need to be used in a well-ventilated area. They're designed for being outdoors. Don't put it in a tent. Don't use it like that. You could kill yourself. All right, so have it outdoors when you're cooking, things like that. As far as our hose and stuff, this is a 10-foot hose on this one. They do have longer ones. As a matter of fact, we got a 20-foot one on our trailer. Sorry guys, we got trucks and stuff driving through the roads, UPS and stuff like that. So you will hear trucks every now and then. But yeah, there's many different types of fuel that you can use. You can get the white gas, regular Coleman stoves. You can get the propanes, whichever one you prefer. Personally, I like the propane ones because that's the fuel that we usually use. We use gasoline for our generators, and we use propane for our tankless water heater. We use propane for our cooking if we're not using solar. So we just keep propane on hand. We can also use propane on a heater that we have. It's a propane heater that we can use that too, use the same adapter. So we stock up on propane. And also propane is one of those easier things to store and get a hold of later on compared to white gas, Coleman's fuel. Now we talked about power supplies and cooking, things like that. What about water? You're gonna need more water than anything, especially when the power goes out. Temperatures are ranging, it's just ridiculous. Your water, odds are, will not be running. We got a thunderstorm coming. That right there is a great thing when grid down. The reason being, the temperature is going to drop. You're going to be dropping a lot of rainwater. So using tarps, water collection systems, rain gutter systems going into a barrel, rain collectors, that is something you should really think about. A good friend on the channel mentioned he has a pop-up pool that he can erect and put in his backyard to collect rainwater, things like that during grid down scenario. It actually makes a lot of sense. He doesn't have to have it up all the time, but now if an event happens, he can just pull it right out of his shed or garage, wherever it is he's got it hidden, and get it ready to go. That's a good idea. I like the idea. You can definitely use it, and as long as you purify it all out, you'll be good. Make sure that you have water filtration, whether it be chemical tablet treatments or water filters. Sawyer Mini, Life Straw. If you can afford the Big Berkey, hey, that's the top of the line right there, Big Berkey system. Having a way to filter out your water. Even rainwater needs to be filtered. It's not recommended drinking anything directly anymore, not in today's polluted society. So you got to get water stored. Go to the store, go get 1 gallon jugs, fill them up, slide them underneath the bed. They have water bricks in the camping section. We actually have water bricks, storage, and stuff like that. And Legacy, we're a part of Legacy Foods. And the reason I bring Legacy Foods up, because we are affiliated with them, comes to our next thing, long-term food storage.
Right fast, guys, I would like to talk about one of our affiliate programs here on the channel. The best way to protect your family is being prepared. Not only is Legacy Premium the best value in food storage, but it is also the best tasting and most nutritious. Up to a 25-year shelf life and free shipping on all orders, Legacy Food is a go-to for long-term emergency foods. Not only are we affiliated with Legacy Food Storage, we actually use them for our emergency long-term food preps. Legacy Food has the lowest cost per pound, voted the best tasting, a 25-year shelf life, non-GMO, gluten-free options, and yes, it's made here in the USA. So guys, if you want to help support the channel and support yourself with long-term food storage, check out our affiliate links in the description.
That's right, I do my own commercial. Yes, we are affiliated with Legacy Food. Here's the packet right here. This is something we use for our long-term food storage. All you need is boiling water and ways to cook. As long as you got ways to cook, you got food. This is a massive meal. There is 4 servings of 2 cups per serving. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot of food right there. So yeah, basically that's 8 cups of food. Quite a bit. Now, you don't have to get long-term food storage to survive. It just makes it real easy. This is 8 cups of food that can slide in a bookshelf. See that? Yeah, lays flat. All right. My storage space gets really tight. Now, is that the cheapest food around? No, it's not. You can get a sample pack of Legacy Food. They can send you 4 different types of packs of the food that's right at 40 bucks. If you use our link, which is in the description, you help the channel out. Always keep an eye open though when you go over to the website. Look at the very top banner. Sometimes you see 10% off sales by using their special code. Use them. That's 10% off. That's, you save yourself 4 bucks right there. It doesn't always happen, but most of the time they've always got a sale running. So with Legacy, they got all kind of different supplies and stuff like that. You do not have to just go buy theirs. If you're like me, I have to shop at Walmart a lot. I have to shop at Harbor Freight. I got to shop at Amazon. Whatever I got to do to prepare for my family. So no, you don't have to have this to survive. I've done countless weekly prep videos. There should be a card up there for you. That's probably like our most viewed one right there. That's normal food that we buy. That's our normal rotational stock, canned goods, dry goods. Get these foods first. You can buy a lot of the regular canned goods compared to this. Now this is a 25-year shelf life. That's one of the reasons why it's so expensive. But if you're just starting out and you don't have anything stocked up, go to your local Walmart, Target, wherever it is that you shop at, mom and pop store, I don't care where you shop at. It doesn't really matter. You need to be protecting your family. Get food put back, canned goods, dry goods, stuff that you're able to cook. I mean, we're talking about running a generator, running a Coleman stove or a Ozark Trail stove, using solar power to produce power. Have a way of feeding and keeping your family hydrated with water. Have supplies. You need to get supplies put back, put away. If the grid goes down, either from man-made event or natural disaster, it's going to be a while before anybody comes to help you, if they come at all. Regular natural disaster, hurricane come through, yeah, you can count on the government to come eventually in to help. Me personally, I prefer to help myself and to help my family. I'm not going to rely on anybody else to do it. Look how long it took for the victims of Katrina, Hurricane Michael here in Panama City. It took a very long time to get aid from the state. And let's talk about Hurricane Michael right fast. Right now, here at Panama City, there is non-stop, especially Lynn Haven, federal investigations now because the officials were embezzling money, aid and cleanup money. There's still charges are flying around everywhere. They have to actually do a federal investigation on this. So that just goes to show you the ones that are supposedly helping and looking out for everybody are looking out for themselves. These are the officials now being charged with embezzlement charges. Yeah, I'm going to take the security of my family in my hands. Now, I've read plenty of comments about, well, if you're cooking outside, you're going to bring unwanted attention. That is absolutely the truth. It will. All right. It's up to you on your moral standards or whatever it is that you're going to do. Me, myself, I'm there to protect my family and my family only, except for my group of preppers that are in my area that will work together. We have a large number of people that will be watching each other's back. We got a community of prepared people. We're good. But you're absolutely correct. People will come. You cook outside. It's a threat that you're going to be taking. Whatever you're going to do, it's going to happen. People will be coming around, especially if you're the only one with power. You can take steps as far as blacking out your home, only running power during the daytime, whatever it is that you want to do. Me personally, I'm not worried about that because we have the security details in place. We are ready to rock and roll if we have to. We're going to do everything we can to protect our family. Now, when it comes to cooking outdoors and things like that, you really need to have people watching your back. If it's a full-blown SHTF scenario, grid down from EMP, coronal mass ejection, yeah, you might want to have a security team. If it's just a hurricane, most of the time people still have their vehicles so they can go out of town to go get stuff, things like that. Watch your fuel though. One thing I have noticed, that, especially down here in Florida, we got fuel cans laying around and there's a hurricane coming or just come through, you better have that stuck underneath lock and key. I use logging chains on mine. You got to have a grinder. You're not cutting it with a bolt cutter. You got to have a grinder to cut this thing loose. And by that time, I already know you're there. Also, something to look at, motion sensors. You can get some of their Harbor Freight pretty cheap. They're not the best top of the line ones, but they work really well. That's what we use. We have night vision. If we ever need to be moving around at night, it's generation 1, costs us like $100. Little monoculars. We use those. We have a way to floodlight our yard in case of a situation. With just a flip of a switch, I can flood the entire yard. I can see everything going on, which gives me time to dispatch any situation I need. Something to think about, having security in place. So if you are a bang bang collector or a freedom seed collector, let's put it that way, you have to watch what words you use here on this platform. You do need self-defense in these situations, especially if it's a total grid down scenario. Get a group together. If you're by yourself, you don't want your house lit up like a beacon. You don't. But it's not going to take long before people realize that you got power, because while they're outside of their home all day long because their house is too freaking hot, like here in Florida, and they notice that you are always inside your home and air conditioning running. Those things are loud. Little window units, they're loud. Yeah, it won't take long either way. So you're going to have the threat to deal with immediately. Now it just depends on what you're going to do. All right, I cannot tell you what to do. I told you what I'm going to do. I'm here to protect my family, take care of my family. I'm here to work with my community of preppers that we have been working so freaking hard, putting money back, buying food, buying supplies. We're sacrificing our normal daily enjoyment in life as far as going to the movies, going out to eat, going here, going there. We made those sacrifices. So when those commenters, those people that are watching right now, which probably not because they usually don't stick around very long, go, how dare you, you're not going to take care of blah blah, man, bite my ass. Okay, what are you doing right now to prepare for it? In other words, you're going to come out going, give me, how dare you for not giving me anything. Man, kick rocks. As a matter of fact, why don't you come on to my house, I'll help you. Seriously. All right guys, y'all take care. Speak to y'all later.